The History Channel original podcast, History This Week, January 11th, 2022. I'm Sally Helm. Lieutenant Colonel James Harvey arrives at Nellis Air Force Base in Las Vegas, Nevada. He has not been on this base in 73 years. Today, he wears a burgundy suit coat with an airplane pin on it, plus a patch with more planes, and the words Tuskegee Airmen. When he was younger, Harvey served as a pilot in the Air Force's 332nd Fighter Group, the first black airmen in the United States military who fought during World War II and were named after their training place in Tuskegee, Alabama. But what really stands out about Harvey's outfit today is his black baseball cap. It says, First Top Gun Winner, 1949. That is the year that Lieutenant Colonel James Harvey last stood on Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada, 1949. He was there for the Air Force's first weapons competition, where the military's most skilled pilots, the best of the best, competed against each other in practice air battles. Harvey was part of a team of 3 pilots, the only black pilots competing, and they won. But in the years that followed, the official record of their victory was lost or ignored, or both. Lieutenant Colonel Harvey has been working to fix that, and today he arrives at Nellis Air Force Base to receive a plaque honoring the Top Gun. Victory, mission accomplished. But almost 73 years is a long time for anyone. Today, the Tuskegee Top Gun champions. Who were these amazing black pilots? And what did it take to bring their story back into the light? Lieutenant Colonel James Harvey III is now 99 years old. But when you talk to him, you quickly understand what he must have been like as a young boy. He was ambitious and very driven, the oldest child. I was the anchor man on the gymnastics team, captain of the basketball team, and in my senior year, I was class president and valedictorian. You were doing everything. Well, when I was growing up, and until I got married, I was a perfectionist. And being a perfectionist and marriage do not always go together, but for many years, perfectionism worked for him. He would decide to do something, and then do it. That is how it was with becoming a pilot. I was working in the yard one day, and I heard a sound above me. I looked up and saw 4 P-40 planes flying together, and I said, I would like to do that one day. That was it. So I followed that dream. Harvey grew up in a small town in Pennsylvania. Around the same time in New York City, a boy named Harry Stewart Jr. was also dreaming about flying. He grew up near what is now LaGuardia Airport. I used to go and watch the planes land and take off. I imagined myself as the pilot. But they do not let kids fly planes. The closest he got was flying model planes with his friends. They were made from light wood, paper, and rubber bands. And we would race them. We would fly them and see how long they could stay in the air. Were you good, Colonel Stewart? Did you win those model plane races? I would say I was in the middle. Really? Yes. Stewart grew up in a mixed neighborhood. Meanwhile, Harvey was part of the only black family in his town. But both men said their first real experience with racism came when they joined the military as young men in the early 1940s. Stewart joined in 1943 at age 18 with friends from his neighborhood and left home for training. My parents had warned me what it would be like. The day I left, some of my friends went with me to the train station. When we got to Washington, the conductor pointed to me and said I had to go to a different car. I understood what he meant. My friends said they would go with me. But the conductor said no, that car was only for black people. Later, when I went to eat in the dining car, they pulled a curtain around me so others would not see me. Do you remember how you felt? Yes, I felt anger and hurt. But I stayed focused on my goal, which was to earn my wings and become a pilot. Stewart arrived at Tuskegee Institute in Alabama and had a new experience, being surrounded by other black men who would become his teammates and friends. Black men had only recently been allowed to train as pilots. In 1939, President Franklin Roosevelt approved a law allowing black pilots in the Army Air Corps and created training programs at black colleges. In 1941, training fields opened near Tuskegee Institute. That is where Stuart trained. The campus was beautiful, with trees and green areas everywhere. There was also some teasing from older students to make new trainees tougher. Stuart had to complete classes, but soon he was flying a plane. This young man, just out of high school. Did you learn to fly before you learned to drive? Yes, that is true. When I got my wings, I still could not drive a car. The plane controls were not what he expected from his model planes, but he quickly learned. James Harvey also trained at Tuskegee. He had tried to join earlier but was turned away, then later accepted. The program for black pilots was very strict. Everything had to be perfect. There was no room for mistakes. Training was hard, and only about 40% of trainees finished. Both Harvey and Stuart graduated. In 1944, Stuart became a pilot and was sent overseas. He flew missions protecting bombers in Europe. He described it as beautiful, but also dangerous, like a dance in the sky with moments of fear. He saw planes shot down and pilots killed. The Indian War ended in 1945, but both men stayed in the Air Force. In 1949, the Air Force announced a competition to find the best pilots. Each group would send their top 3 pilots. Harvey and Stuart were chosen, along with Captain Alva Temple. They traveled to Las Vegas for a 10-day competition. Before leaving, their commander told them, "If you do not win, do not come back." When they arrived, they felt some people did not want them there, but they decided to prove themselves by winning. The competition included events like shooting targets, dropping bombs, and firing rockets. It was very difficult and dangerous. In one event, a crash killed 2 people, which deeply affected Stuart. Still, the competition continued. At first, the Tuskegee team was behind, but then they performed perfectly in skip bombing and took the lead. In the final event, they kept their lead and won the competition. They had beaten all the other teams, but their victory was not celebrated properly. They were quickly given a photo and told to leave. Later, the record of their win was listed as unknown. For many years, their achievement was forgotten. Harvey stayed in the military and later fought in the Korean War. Stuart left and faced discrimination when trying to become a commercial pilot. Years later, people began to rediscover their story. The missing trophy was found in a museum. In 2005, it was finally displayed. In 2022, the team was officially honored at Nellis Air Force Base. After many years, they finally received recognition. Over time, the military became more equal, and segregation ended. The Tuskegee Airmen had proven their skill and courage again and again. Their victory in 1949 showed that talent has nothing to do with race. They proved everyone wrong.